How are we all doing? Let's try take two. Because if it doesn't work this time, then I'll be a little bit confused. And if you're all wondering why I'm wearing these, it's so I could actually hear that it was working. Because I know what some of you are like in the comment section. You start saying, oh, no, it's not working again. It's not working again. But it is. So we sorted the mic issue out. I actually don't know what the hell happened there. But it works now. And I suppose that's the main thing. Now, as you would have not heard what I was originally saying first time round, this is, of course, DT's Daily. And it's one of the live ones that we're going to be doing each and every week now, not the pre-recorded that come out at 7 a.m. on the UK time. And I suppose all you would have got from that first one was me sounding like a Dalek. Or I've heard it back. I was like, what on earth has happened there? Never experienced it before. Have no idea what happened. Technical issue. But we're going to go first of all into last night's Premier League games and run through the results, which is what I was doing before we then go into detail about the Arsenal-Southampton game and discuss that. Leeds United beat Newcastle 5-2. Very eventful game. Leeds with 3 goals in the last 12 minutes. Leicester lost at home to Everton. Brilliant result for Everton. Fulham against Brighton was 0-0, and the less we say about that, the better. West Ham was 1-1 against Crystal Palace. West Ham's goal was an unbelievable bicycle kick. And Liverpool beat Spurs 2-1. Although if you listen to Jose Mourinho, you will believe that the best team lost when in fact the best team won. We go into the Arsenal game. And of course, it was 1-1 against Southampton. Now, the title is pretty straightforward, and it's what you feel. Is it a point gained or 2 points dropped? Now, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the game in terms of that final piece and why I feel it's actually a point gained. Before the game, let's make this very, very clear. Before the game, only a victory will have done. I wanted nothing more than a victory. It's as simple as that. But when, for the third time in 5 matches, we have a player sent off when the score is level and you've got such a long period of the game left and you lose a player in a critical position, to dig out a draw against a side as well that are in the top 4 and are playing really well this season. Remember that. You've got to look at it as a point gained. You honestly have to look at it as that. We could have got more, rightly or wrongly, or whether you thought it was justified. If Rob Holding's header would have been an inch other side, it would have been a goal and we would have won the game. But that's our luck at the moment. We hit the woodwork. But remember as well, Southampton, they did hit the woodwork as well. Once we'd gone down to 10 men. And it's like, it's so difficult when you look at the game itself, because I feel that at the start of the second half, we came out really, really good. I felt the way that we played and pressed and moved the ball was so much better. We got the equaliser and you're thinking, right, okay, let's go now. We're on the path where we need to go. This is, you know, what we need to be doing, and this is how we need to play. And then Gabriel, our best player this season, inexplicably gets sent off for a second yellow card. And boom, that's it, done. And it's very easy to blame the manager, because some people will. And I had a very, very long discussion today on the podcast on AFTV, which will be out tomorrow. And we were discussing everything and what's going on. And we were discussing the situation. And I made my point very clear on there as to why I'm backing the manager and as to why we need to, as fans, back the manager. The board have come out and backed him. The players have come out and backed him. Mikel Arteta is going nowhere. So you're actually wasting your breath by constantly saying Arteta out. and you can keep screaming it from the rooftops. It's not actually going to change. The board believe in what he's going to do. The board believe that he can get us out of the current mess we're in. And one of the key things for this is the change in personnel. And we need to make changes. We need to make signings. We need to get rid of some of the old hat and the problems that have let down previous managers, because we've got players in the team that were not good enough for Arsene Wenger, not good enough for Unai Emery, and not good enough for Mikel Arteta. It's evident which players he doesn't want and who don't really get into the starting 11 on a Premier League basis. And we're going to have to ride this one out. And this is the problem. Some people don't want to ride it out. You know, I had Robbie saying to me that last season, Mikel Arteta came in and we finished 8th. And I was like, why are you blaming the man for finishing 8th? Like, that was solely his fault. Jurgen Klopp came into Liverpool and he took over once the season had already started. Where did he finish that season? 8th. So you want to blame Mikel Arteta for us finishing 8th last season when he didn't even have half a season plus COVID, 3-month break and all the rest of it to put in there, and won the FA Cup. But yeah, it doesn't work out, does it? So some people need to actually start thinking, and people can sit there all day long and start saying, DT's deluded, he's just like Ty and all this, that, the other. If you actually take a back seat for a second and you actually think rationally and not with your I don't really want to say what I wanted to say, but you actually think properly and instead of actually listening to what some other people are saying and trying to guide you down a certain path, then you'll be able to think a lot more clearer. Now, I get people sitting there and saying to me, you know, I was completely different under Arsene Wenger and towards the end of Unai Emery and everything else. Well, yeah, because they'd run their course in that sense. And Mikel's not even had a first full season. There's people trying to compare Unai Emery's first 15 games in his second season to Mikel Arteta's first 15 in his first full season. It's incomparable. One had already had a full season behind him, a couple of transfer windows, 4 in fact. Seriously, because it suits your argument. If I wanted to be really pedantic about things and I really wanted to, you know, stretch things to try and suit arguments of Mikel Arteta, I could say that in Mikel Arteta's first 50 games, his record is identical to Herbert Chapman, one of our greatest ever managers. But I'm not going to, because it's not comparable, because one was done in the 1930s and one is in the modern era. But you get what I'm trying to put across here, that people will have an argument to suit their specific needs at the time. You will, and I've seen this, in the first 28 games of Mikel Arteta was being compared to the first 28 of Unai Emery. What they were also conveniently missing out was Arsene Wenger, because in the middle of that was Arsene Wenger. Unai Emery also had a better start to life for Arsenal in his first 28 games than Arsene Wenger. How did that one work out? Yeah. What did Arsene Wenger win at Arsenal? Okay. Yeah. But it's all right, because Unai Emery had a better start to life for Arsenal than him. And everyone will make you believe that. Yeah. Stats. Amazing, isn't it? But back the manager. Honest to God, back the manager. And I do truly believe that he will get us out of this. I do honestly believe that he will steady the ship and get us to where we need to go. January is going to be massive. January, you know, when that comes along, and we will go and buy some players, and we got to buy players that we need. One of them's not going to be Szoboszlai, because I've seen that as well from Owen Go. And I've seen that already. We all pretty much knew. Look, they've got a thing going on anyway. They're both Red Bull teams. And I think, you know what, that's probably the best move for him, because does he really want to come to Arsenal given the current situation we're in and have the whole world put on his shoulders and expected to change our fortunes instantly? Probably not. So it's probably the best move for him in his development. And he's still a young boy. Yeah, we need to make these signings. We need to change things around. And this is another conversation that I've had. I think the biggest mistake that Mikel Arteta has made is reverting away from his 3-4-3 formation, because it was working. We've beaten the likes of Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, Manchester United. Even a few weeks ago when we went to Old Trafford, we played the 3-4-3 formation and we beat Manchester United. And the biggest issue and problem that Mikel's had is that he's now trying to implement his way of playing, the 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 hybrid, whatever you want to call it. It's predominantly a 4-3-3. And he's doing it before he's got the personnel that can actually implement it. And he's put a bit of trust in a few of those players based on their performances in the 3-4-3 formation. And he said, all right, cool, maybe we can get you going in this formation. Maybe we can get this to work. And what's happened is it hasn't. He's been very unfortunate in the fact that Thomas Partey has been injured since he came into the club. Go and have a look at our performance at Manchester United when Thomas Partey was there. It wasn't a 3-4-3 setup in terms of us defending for 90 minutes and doing nothing. In the first half, we could have been and should have been 2 or 3-0 up against Manchester United. Willian hit the bar. Saka had a free header from 6 yards out. It could have been a very comfortable game, but it wasn't. But we got the 1 goal and we took the victory. And one of the reasons for us being so expansive, even though it's technically a defensive setup, which is a bit of a myth, is that Thomas Partey was in there. Even against Spurs, Thomas Partey was 75% fit, yet he was still our best player in the midfield by a country mile. In that first half, I still see plenty of incidents where Højbjerg was chasing shadows and Partey was just brushing him aside and getting him out of the way. And Højbjerg was rolling around the floor holding his face. So he's been very unlucky in terms of Thomas Partey getting injured because he brings so much to the team and helps in developing the system that we want to play under Mikel Arteta. There's players that are simply not good enough. They've never been good enough, and they haven't been since Arsene Wenger was manager. I think you know who we're all on about. There's loads of them. Weak, spineless, fragile mentalities, and they're simply not good enough. And when Mikel come in and told them they've got to fight for their place in the team and they've got to, you know, show 100% commitment, those players didn't want to. It's one of the problems when you've got experienced players that some of them can't be bothered. They think they've already been there, seen it, done it, got the T-shirt, and they don't want to do any more. TD Shifts, love from Australia. I 100% agree with what you were saying. Everything you were saying, I've said multiple times to people, I'm not going to waste my time for people that don't listen. Hashtag Ninja Turtle team. Yes, the complete opposite to the rats, the Ninja Turtles. Shout out to MM. He says, DT, you're the GOAT all the way, all the love from Ireland. Massive shout out to you and thank you for your comment as well. But yeah, listen, and this is the thing, and I've tried explaining it. Do you know what? There was a comment there about me being in Mark Goldbridge's pocket. The last time I see Mark Goldbridge in a football match, we beat him 7-0. So, no, he's not in there no more. So, yeah, look, listen, man, it's pretty straightforward. And don't be sucked in by some of the things that you see and some of the stats that mislead you. Because like I said, we can all throw stats out. We can all pull them out. We can all do it. 100 million %. We can all throw stats around. We could sit here, and for all of you that are only just joining now, I done a stat a second ago, which I'm not using. I'm just simply relaying how simple it is to pick up stats and make it look better in your argument. One of our greatest ever managers in the history of Arsenal Football Club was Herbert Chapman. In his first 50 games as Arsenal manager, it's identical to Mikel Arteta's. 1 drawn, lost. Identical. Now, he's our greatest ever manager, one of them with Arsene Wenger and George Graham and everything else. So you could use that and go, yeah, but look, I'm not, because it's different eras. It's the 1930s in comparison to the modern, football as we know it. But what I'm getting at is that their stats can back every argument. And what you're doing is, or what some of you are doing, is that you're listening to certain stats and just being blinded by it. It's like when you read a title on a post or a video or something. The amount of people that saw the title on my interview after AFTV yesterday and immediately made an assumption or an assessment of what was said based on the title. And they went into the comment section with their chest and started being abusive and making, you know, all these different kind of comments about me without actually listening to what I'd said. They'd read a title. Yeah, that says more about you than anybody else, that you literally haven't got 5 minutes of your time to just actually watch, look, see what is going on, and then go, okay, yeah, I've made my own mind up and judgment of that. Because what I actually said was, and it's very clear about the players playing for Mikel Arteta yesterday, is that we've all heard over the last week or so that the players are not playing for Mikel Arteta. I still believe there's some that are not, but luckily they weren't involved in this game. Now, when we went down to 10 men, it would have been very easy, if those players are not playing for the manager and want him out, to have down tools and got away with one. Because if we would have lost that game, everybody would have been blaming the red card. Everyone would have been looking at Gabriel. Everyone would have been on Mikel Arteta's back. So it would have been an easy way of them losing and putting more pressure on the man they supposedly won out. But they didn't. They fought and they worked hard and they dug in and they got the point. And that was 30 minutes of proper digging in. And they really had to dig in the game. And that's what I'm trying to say. So that didn't look to me like a team that wants the manager to be sacked. That looks like a team that are fighting for the manager. Yes, things are not going right at the moment. We already know that. But you've got to take things into context and look at it in a bigger picture. So it is what it is in that respect. So I'm looking at it as a point gained, given the context of the game, given the fact we were down to 10 men. Do I celebrate getting a point? No. Am I happy with getting a point? No. Did I want more? Yes, 100% I wanted more. But will I settle for a point, given the fact we were down to 10 men for the third time in 5 games and for over 25 minutes? And the player that actually got red carded was our best defender. Of course, I'll take the point all day long. I think if you would have said most fans, the moment the red card happened, would you take a point now? They'll go, yeah, all day long. And the same thing happened when we played Burnley. 15 minutes or so of really good football, playing well, creating chances, look like we're knocking down the door to score a goal. 0-0, Granit Xhaka, red card. They go up the other end, they score. We're all over the place. You go to Leeds United, difficult place to go. Everyone knows about their goal scoring this season and everything else. And there's not going to be a lot of teams that go to Ellen Road and get victories. 0-0, half-time, thinking, you know what, we can, be a bit more expansive this half, maybe, be a bit more adventurous. We've done the difficult part, weathered that first storm. We're in the game. It's 0-0. Everything's great. And then Pepe headbutts the Leeds player. And then your back's against the wall. And ironically, we could have actually won that game because Saka went through with 3 minutes to go with the best chance of the match. So it's pretty straightforward. I've made my case 1,000,000 times over. And people ain't going to change my mind. If I ever wanted to say a manager out, I would say a manager out when I'm ready and when I feel the time is right, not when people are sitting there bashing their keyboard, telling me that I've got an agenda and I don't want him out, or I'm paid by the club, or this, that, the other. Absolutely nobody pays me. You really think Arsenal Football Club pay me to keep me quiet? Are you mad? I got my own voice, my own mind, my own opinion. This is my opinion. This is my channel, and I say what the fuck I want when I'm on it. And if people don't like it, then don't watch it. It's as simple as that. And don't be dragged in by what other people think and say. Trust me on that. Like, I don't tell you have to be Arteta in. I don't tell you that you must support the manager. I say, yeah, you've got to back him because he's your manager, but you can have your opinion. You can sit there and say that you don't think he's right for the job. But it's when you start being abusive about him for no reason. The moment we get a defeat, it's like you're rubbing your hands with glee because you're like, yes, finally, there we go. This is a moment for me to raise my profile on social media and make myself like, yeah, whatever it is. Come on, man. It's not good in any way, shape or form. I've explained my thoughts on the whole T-shirt situation as well with Troops. And I've said that I've not been disrespectful to Troops. I texted him myself last week and told him everything that I've said on here. I've got nothing to hide. I would say it to him, and I believe it's wrong. He's come out coincidentally since then and said it actually had nothing to do with him, and that it was to do with the company that he now works for, and he's going to have a word with them. That's not because of me that he did that. It's because he realizes as well that it was the wrong thing to have been done and said. So, you know, like I said, wasn't disrespectful to him. I just said that I didn't agree with it. I felt that, you know, he was only making everybody's argument that he's in it for the money more louder, because there's a lot of people out there that believe that he's only gone to America because of money, and fair play to him, by the way. He's got a brilliant gig out there, and my thoughts don't change on that. I wish him well, and I'll always back him 100% with it. But when I see something that he does that I don't like or I think is wrong, I'll tell him. Man to man, as a friend, I will tell him. And I text him and told him. There's no difference in that. I don't think it was the right thing to do. And, you know, thankfully, he realizes it's not the right thing to do as well. And he has come out and said that he's not being a part of that. So, you know, fair play to him in that respect, because he's big enough to hold his hands up and say that, yeah, I didn't want to be a part of that. You know, the fact that he's Arteta out, that's his opinion. That's his opinion, man. I've got no problem with it. He can shout it from the rooftops if he wants to. But I know that his intentions are clean, is the best way of describing it. I know that deep down, like, I know Troops has got a clean heart in that respect. And I know he cares about the club. And I know that although sometimes he can be difficult and go off the rails and maybe not be reined in as much as what he was when he was over here by Robbie, but what comes out is genuine. And sometimes he says things that, you know, he probably don't mean. I've done it. We've all been there. But listen, it's his opinion. I ain't got a problem with that, like I was saying. So it's you make your own mind up. Don't be judged or swayed by other people. Don't let other people sit there and try and take you down a path that you're not too sure with. Use your own brain, use your own thoughts, use your own mind. You still want the manager out, that's cool, but think about it as well. Look up the whole entire, you know, situation, what's going on, and weigh everything up. Don't just look at one little corner of something and think, yeah, I'm going to follow that trend because that looks good on social media and it might get me a couple of clicks and a couple of retweets and likes or anything else. And the fact is, I don't need to do that. All right, this is the thing. I've seen some of these allegations that have been thrown around recently and people saying that I need likes and, you know, retweets and everything else. Listen, I could film myself taking a shit and get more likes and retweets than half of these people that are saying it about me. Let's big the reality here. I don't need to be controversial to get likes or retweets or anything. I just use my platform to try and express my thoughts and my opinion. Whether you agree or disagree, that's down to you. But I don't need likes. You have to look at the size of my platforms. You know, I think I've got about 210,000 on Twitter, over 250,000 on YouTube, 150, 60 or thousand or whatever the hell it is on Instagram. Like, come on, man. I don't need likes and retweets. I just want to give my honest thoughts and opinions to the people out there. You don't have to agree. There's a lot of people that do agree, and there's some that don't. That's what football's all about. Do you know what I mean? Let's have a proper conversation. What I talk about are the people that go past the, you know, the normal comments and the observations or anything like that. And the first thing that comes out the mouth, bam, it's abuse. Bam, it's like, you know what I mean? I'm not an angel. I've done things under the Wenger era that I wished I never did. And I wished I'd used my head more clearer and that I'd actually, you know, not been so reactionary sometimes and everything. We've all been there and done it. But you know it's genuine. In my respect, you know it's genuine. So, yeah, I'll let you make of that what you will in that respect. So, look, people say we're fighting relegation. It's not great and everything else, but we will get out of this situation. I'm telling you, I honestly believe we will get out of this situation. I back my manager. I believe in my manager. And that's not for anything other than me believing in what I'm saying. It's not for likes, not for retweets, not for views, not for nothing. And that's the thing. It doesn't matter. I don't need to go on AFTV and say something controversial to get views. The most watched videos in the history of AFTV are my videos. That's not being big-headed. It's just stating a fact. So we can win games and I can get a minimum 300,000-400,000 views on AFTV after a game. I don't need to sensationalize it. I don't need to say things to try and, generate something. I just say what I feel. There you go. So let's go into the super chats as well. Stardog 1980. As a Rangers fan, I watched Tierney tear apart defenses up here, and to play him centre half is criminal. Arsenal needs his drive up the left wing. I agree with that, and I spoke with Robbie about that yesterday as well. I think that you're losing something by putting Tierney in the middle of the three. But again, I just feel that Mikel Arteta is kind of resigned to the fact that we haven't got the personnel he really wants there, and he's just going with what has worked in the past, and it's kind of back to basics sort of thing. Get some points on the board, and then we look to go from there once January window opens. Super chat from AS. I agree with your Bellerin comments. I have forever thought we need Arteta to get a right back like Trent. Big up. Also big up the Scousers saving our asses against Spurs last couple of seasons. Yeah, so it's nice to see Spurs get put back in the hole for a little bit. But look, at the end of the day, they're having a better season. And again, this was another discussion that I had, and it's about this 3-4-3 formation. And the situation is that people say it's boring, it's negative, it's this, that, the other. People are not saying it's boring, it's negative and whatever when Jose Mourinho is shutting up shop and having 2 shots on goal all game and about 25% possession when they're top of the league. They're calling it masterclasses. So where do you draw the line of balance? This is the problem. If we were not reverting to the 4-3-3 and we stayed with the 3-4-3 formation and we were dogged and resolute and we sat back and played counter-attack football, but we were not in 15th position and we were winning matches and up near the top, would you be moaning about the performances in terms of us sitting back and allowing another team 65-70% possession? Don't think you would you? It's very evident that Mikel wants to set a solid base, and until we can get his own personnel in, he's not going to really try and be more expansive. But the mistake he made was trying to be more expansive. And it ultimately has backfired and it's put us in this situation we're in. But do I think he can turn it around? Of course I do. Because he got us in a good position in the first place. People talk about Pochettino. Mikel Arteta won more in 6 months than Pochettino did in 5 years. Now, okay, when you talk about, Allegri, unreal manager. Can't even compare him and Arteta in terms of the caliber and what they've won and everything. But Allegri, you're moaning about boring football. Again, what do you want? What suits your narrative or reality? Come on, man. Think about it before you speak. Actually wake up. Let's go through some questions before we get out of here. I've been talking so much about what's going on at the moment, but watch out for the podcast as well tomorrow, because that was good. That was really good. And it's nice to have a good debate. And, Robbie actually kept his mouth quiet for more than 5 minutes. And we have a lot of laughs together. Trust me, for all the people that think that, me and Robbie, we might disrespect each other or shout at each other or anything else. That's the way we work, man. It's all love at the end of the day. No hard feelings ever. And it's the way it should be. We're both very passionate about our clubs. And, Robbie has his thoughts. I have mine. Just as everybody out there has their own thoughts and opinions and everything else. But it's an interesting one. And we're going to find out, over the course of the next couple of weeks, where we go, what we do. We got some big games coming up because, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, what would have been so good is getting the victories against Burnley and Southampton, because if we would have done that, it would have relieved so much pressure going into the Everton and Chelsea game. Whereas there's going to be even more pressure now going into those games, given the fact we picked up 1 point in 6, because, once we've played Chelsea on Boxing Day, then our 3 games after that are Brighton, West Brom and Newcastle. So you're looking at those games and you're thinking to yourself, an informed Arsenal, or at least a half decent Arsenal with a bit of confidence, would probably pick up 9 points out of 9 in those. Not that they're going to be easy games, especially Brighton. Saw what happened last season. But you get what I'm coming from and what I'm trying to explain, that, these things can happen. And yeah, it would have been nice to have got those 2 victories, but we haven't. And, we're going to have to really dig deep now. The players are clearly, willing to dig deep. And they're going to be after, the ones that get the team out of the mess now, because they put the manager in this situation. They're the ones that are failing on the pitch as well. They've all come out and openly said that it's not the manager and that they're all behind him 100%, and they're all happy and they're all playing for him. Well, now it's down to them, because they put it all on them and they've made it very clear that it's down to them. So only they can go out and prove it now. Only they can go out and show what they're all about. So January is going to be very interesting. I think that we need to go and get the business done quick. I think that Arsenal need to identify who they want, what they want, and they need to go out there and get it. There's no haggling or messing about for the whole entire month. It's like, right, that's the price. There's the money. Let's go. We know that we're freeing up so many wages at the end of this season. And also with the squads as well, for a lot of people that have been asking about the squad and saying about how can we put somebody in a 25-man squad if we've already made it. Well, the squads get redone again in January. So the current Premier League squad, Europa League squad, and everything else goes back to level in January, and you get to resubmit a new squad. So for me, you're going to look at the players that you don't want and are out of the door at the end of the year. You've got your likes of Socrates and Ozil, who will be out of the door in, May, June time when their contracts end, or even January. So those won't go back into the squads. Then you've got players there that you could look at and say, right, he's out of contract. He's who we're getting rid of. Ain't going to be using him. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. Put the players you need in the squad. And you can't, say no more than that, really. It's pretty straightforward stuff. Pranava Krampf has said, when will the boxing match happen between you and Goldbridge? Goldbridge won't get into a boxing ring, but I said to him, and a lot of people need to understand this as well. I said to him, let's do, like a football match against each other, one-on-one, me and Goldbridge. And I initially stated it, and this is where, people don't use their brain again. I said in a cage. Now, when I said the words in a cage, people straight away will go, what? MMA cage fighting? No. If you know about street football, and it's especially, I don't know what it's like up north, but especially in London, they have cages. That's what they basically are. They're cages that you play football in. And it's very much like the FIFA Street type thing. And basically, 2 of you go in there, 1v1, and you have it out. So football is what we're known for, not boxing. So it makes sense to have a footballing match. Our teams have played, against each other. And we don't need to do that anymore, because we already showed that we're a million miles better than them when we slapped them 7-0. So for a bit of fun, charity, whatever it might be, no ill feeling, bad blood or anything like that. Just me and Goldbridge in a football cage, playing FIFA Street style, first to whatever. No referees, get whacked about a little bit. Be perfect, wouldn't it? I think that'd be a great thing. I reckon if we'd done a live stream of that, the views would go through the roof. Let me know what you think. Let's go through some of these comments real quickly. Let's have a look. So, yeah, it's very evident what we're going to do. We know what we need to strengthen in January. We know what we need to get done. We know where we need to go. We know where we want to be. And first step will be, of course, at the weekend against Everton, it's going to be a tough game at Goodison. Our last 4 games at Goodison, we've won 2, drawn 1, lost 1. So our record's not bad. You know, at Goodison, I think that's not too bad, to be quite honest with you. TD Shifts has said that Leno is the 3rd best keeper in the Premier League behind Alisson and Edison. And when Arteta wins the Premier League in 3 years, I'm going to be like, I told you so. We need to fix some issues in January. Yeah, hashtag DT's private club. Listen, when Mikel Arteta does get this right and things do change around, then all the people that were going after him, you're not welcome. You're not getting in this club. Trust me on that one. But yeah, look, listen, it's going to be a big game. There's got so many videos coming out. What day are we in now? Thursday. Tomorrow, I'm going to be releasing the preview and predicted lineup to the Everton game. That's going to be a big one. DTFC on Sunday on the DTFC channel. You do not want to miss that game because that's the one that got abandoned last week and it all absolutely kicked off. So I love that. AS2 skills. Actually, DT, Chelsea spent 250 million. They haven't won against top 10 sides. They are worse than us. Well, I said it was 222, didn't I? It's actually 250 then. And yes, they haven't beaten anybody in the top 10. And given the money they've spent and the players they've brought in, I think that Frank Lampard's getting away with it very, very lightly, to be honest. Yeah. So, oh, I saw that super chat, but, you know, there's certain things that I can and can't say. Regardless, but yeah, keep an eye out for the shows. Like I was saying, thank you to everybody that's joined in. We've had a nice little discussion, let a few things off the chest, and like I said, listen to, you know, what's being said. Don't listen to titles. Don't listen to what you feel might be popular at the time. Just go with, you know, your own thoughts and mind. Don't let anybody sway your opinion. Don't let me. Don't let anybody. Be yourself. So, yeah, until the next set of videos, I'll see you lot soon. But listen, thank you to all of you that are tuned in. Make sure you subscribe to the DTFC channel as well. Links in the description for that. And yeah, I'll see you lot soon. I'm out of here.